Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today as we take a look at Xceed Words for .NET, but sort of from a different angle. This time around, we're going to be leveraging OpenAI to add a little bit of a functionality to Xceed Words for .NET. We know for a fact that everyone nowadays using AI, so why not merge Xceed and OpenAI together to create some cool stuff? Stick around. All right, so we're ready to get started with our little project here. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to create a console application. So this way we are agnostic to the platform you are currently using. The console application, we're going to be building it through VS Code. We're going to grab all the NuGet packages we need to create this application. We're then going to create an instance of a docx file that we're going to extract the content from. We're going to take that content, we're going to send it to OpenAI. And we're going to ask it for a summary by creating a prompt. Once we get that summary, we're then going to take that summary, that data, and we're going to add it at the end of a docx file. So this way you have your content and your summary. There's multiple other things we could have done in that regard. But for the purposes of that demo, let's just create something simple like that. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is create our .NET console environment. So we're going to go into terminal, Xceed. We're going to create a new console application, .NET new console, and we'll call it docx AI. Perfect. So now we're going to go in that folder and we're going to check to make sure that everything was installed and running properly. Hello world. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and start adding the necessary packages. The first one we're going to add is Xceed Words for .NET. Perfect. The next one is going to be obviously the Semantic Kernel from Microsoft. So Microsoft.semantic kernel. Here we go. Perfect. Last, it is the connector itself. So basically, it is what we need to connect the kernel directly to OpenAI. So we need that little package because there could be many other connectors you could use for different platforms. Package Microsoft.semantic kernel.connectors.openai. All right, so we have everything we need to get started. Let's make sure that everything is still compiling and running fine. We have our hello world, perfect. So now we're going to open up the folder. Okay, so now we have our little environment with our hello world, and we're basically ready to go. The first thing I want to mention is that if you want a trial key to attempt this demo, you're going to need to go on trial.xceed.com, fill in your information, and you're going to receive a trial key by email. Just so you know, Xceed is not very spammy at all, so don't worry about registering and receiving tons of emails right afterwards. We're just not like that. So trial.xceed.com to get your license key. So in this case, we're going to say Xceed Words net.licenser.license key. And we're going to put in our license key right here. I grabbed the one from trial.xceed.com earlier. So let me just copy paste it right here. All right. So next up, we're going to create a instance of our docx file. So first, we're going to call it file input. I know for a fact that my file is named fake report.docx. So what I'm going to do is, for the sake of this demo, I have a file ready that is basically just a fake report, as I mentioned earlier. So I added it to the project here. Perfect. So we won't be fighting with paths in this demo. All right. So now that we have our grab on the path of the file itself, we're going to create a path for the file output as well. So fake report output.docx. Of course, we could have added the data to the same file. We didn't have to create another file for that, but for the sake of this demo, I wanted to differentiate both files. All right, so now we have our product unlock. We have an instance of the path for each of them. So the next step we're going to do is that we're going to create an actual document instance using Xceed Words for .NET. So using var document docx.load. And isn't it nice? It added the using for me. So thank you so much for that. It's file input. All right. So now we have our document. So we're going to dump the content of the document in this variable here. Document the text does exactly that. And let's see if everything is working fine thus far. So we're going to check and see if we can get the content of the file in our console window. All right, then we're content. All right. So let's open up a terminal again and do our little .NET run and see if everything is still working fine, which is the case. Perfect. It's hard to read, but the entire data is there. Great. So we can close that now. So far, so good. Next up, we want to create the necessary objects for the Microsoft kernel. So we're going to create a builder and an instance itself of the kernel. So we're going to create our builder first. Create builder. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. And then we're going to do, we're going to set it up with the necessary properties. We're going to create it using the chat completion. So what all that does is that it basically asks you to set a few properties so it can work properly. The first would be the model itself.